Guys, how's it going? It's Paris here, and I was just on my way to just do a video for YouTube, and I find myself doing another like finance type video. I don't know what it is, but you guys, I did one video about like credit cards and credit, and you guys really seem to like it. So I just thought that I'd do this video just to let you know about my journey to buying a home. Again, I am not a professional. I just am here to just let you know what happened in my particular situation, and maybe by listening to me it will help you, or maybe you can tweak it in some ways to get the help that you need. As always, if you have any questions, leave them below. Please leave your experiences below also, because you know, people again can chime in and just tell their experiences, and we can all just help each other. So this video today is about my journey when I wanted to buy a home. This was some years ago. I decided that I wanted to be a homeowner. I was renting, and it was like my rent was pretty much more than what a person would probably be paying for a mortgage. So I did what everybody did. You know how you're like walking down the street and you go into some open house, and it was like some brand new condos people were building. I was just like, I just got that bug. So here it is. You know, I'm a college grad. I'm working. I have a good job. I'm paying my rent. It's higher than what the mortgage will probably be. So I'm just thinking like it's going to happen. I'm going to walk into the bank and they're going to approve me for a loan when they just see like what I'm paying and you know what I'm bringing in. That proved to not happen, but let me just tell you. So I live in Chicago, and we have like Chase here. At the time the bank was called LaSalle, but now it's called Bank of America. There was called World Banker, but I think, what's it called? Yeah, I think it was. I like contacted all those people, and you know, gave them my social security number, you know, filled out the applications, and I'm thinking I'm just going to be getting all these offers in, you know, for these pre-approvals, because the thing is, I wanted to get pre-approved for a certain amount before I started looking for a home, which is something that you definitely should do to save you a lot of time and or embarrassment. So to my surprise, I started getting calls in, and the answer was no, no, and no. And I'm like, I'm actually banking with Chase, so I'm like so surprised. I'm like, you see my paychecks, you see me paying my rent every month at a particular time. And, you know, they were basically like, you know, I hadn't been on my job long enough, which, you know, it's like, okay. And my credit history wasn't extensive enough for them to, you know what, a lot of BS I just thought, but you know, who knows? And I was like so hurt, like everybody was calling me back, not giving me the answers that I wanted. Now, I think it was called World Banker. They called me back and they made an offer. And I'm like, oh my God, they want to make an offer. I think I actually had to go in to meet with like a actual lender in the office. So I went, and when I got there, you know, he gives me this envelope, and the total is like $60,000 they approved me for. And I'm like, what can I buy with $60,000? Nothing. Okay, let me just let you know the condo that I wanted. It was like a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, living room, dining room. It's a brand new like rehab, right? And it was at the time $130,000. It was $130,000. So now let's go back to the approval. I was approved for 60 grand. So I'm like feeling really disappointed. I went home and I literally like bawled because I wanted this place so bad. And I ended up like just feeling like I just wanted to give up, but I'm like, there just has to be a way. So every week I would just get the newspaper, and I was just reading through ads about brokers or homes or everything. And I came across this guy, and at the time he worked for a company. It was called Grant Financial in the Illinois area, and his name was Eric. So I just ended up calling him. You know, I basically told him my story, and he told me what he was not a lender that worked for any bank, but he was like a real estate, like a broker basically. And what that means, let me just go ahead and explain that. Basically, he works, or he has like a rapport with different lenders, like multiple lenders, right? It's kind of like what they have now when you look at like, I guess, Lending Tree and things like that, where they work with multiple things, and then they say like, they compete for, you know, your money, your account or whatever. So That's basically what he was. And I gave him my history. He did run my credit, and he called me back and he told me he could get me approved for the 130. I was like, what? Well, how can you do that when I went to like 20 different banks and everybody told me no? What power do you have to get me approved for this $130,000? And he's just like, I'm going to be able to do it. Do you want to get started? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to get started. So basically what he did is he ended up pulling everything on my credit, like anything that was like iffy. Like I had like hospital bills on there that were unpaid, and I basically had to write an explanation. This was just his way of doing it. I had to write an explanation for every single thing that that was like just basically explaining on my credit report, you know, why this was on there, or you know, why this was unpaid, just things like that. So I had to do that for every single thing on my credit report, talk about my student loans and everything. And then I returned that back to him, and he basically sent me a pre-approval letter, and I went out and started really looking for a house. But I had already told you I saw one, so when I went back, someone had taken it. And so all she had left, she had another one, but it was like $8 grand more. So it's $138,000. So I'm like, well, shoot, I could barely get approved for the 130. How am I going to go back and ask for another $8,000? So I ended up calling him, telling him what happened. He called me back in like 2 hours, and he told me he could do that. And I was just like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? So he ended up being able to get me approved. So let me tell you, I can't really remember the institution that my loan was approved for. To make a long story short, and I did write some things down just because I didn't want to forget anything. To make a long story short, my interest rate that I was going to get with this loan was like 1% higher than what normal was. Normal at that time was like about 5%. My loan was for 6%. And the institution that financed my loan, I had never even heard of them. I'm just like, who the hell is this bank, right? And, you know, I was like always like so scared, like, you know, is this really going to happen? But, you know, we went through everything, and I get to the closing table, and everything went through. I literally signed the forms, you know, they did all the paying, the money, the closing costs, the lawyers, the whatever, everything was done, and I had the keys to my house. Now, here we go with paying my mortgage. I started paying my mortgage. It was actually lower than what my rent currently was, so that was like a good thing. So I paid my mortgage for 1 year on time, as expected. And within a year, I get a call from Eric, and he's just like, hey, you know, how are you doing, Paris? I'm like, I'm fine, you know, asking me about my house. And he had told me that he wanted to refinance me. He wanted to refinance my loan with the actual bank that I knew. Guess who it was? One of the banks that had told me no. Go figure. At a lower interest rate. And I actually got to not pay my mortgage for like a month, because, you know, sometimes I don't know how this works, but I think like when you refinance, sometimes you get to like skip a month. But believe me, you have to end up paying this money. It's not like they give it to you for free. But I couldn't even believe it. A bank that told me no 12 months before, now all of a sudden, since they saw me paying with the bank that took a chance on me, now they wanted to refinance me at a lower interest rate. So now I'm at this competitive rate like everybody else. And yeah, I did that. And there was no out of cost, you know, no cost to me. It was kind of like wrapped up in the loan, how they did it. But I was just so happy. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm like mainstream, you know, paying my mortgage. But that was the route that I had to go. And if someone had never told me about it, I would have never known. If I would have given up, I would have never gotten my house. And if I didn't do things right, I would never have a lower interest rate and be with a bank that we all have heard of. So I guess in summary, I just want to tell you guys that, you know, sometimes, you know, you're trying to get a house and you're just like really frustrated, but there are other options out there. Make sure that you look at those options. Like in my case, using a broker was really good. And I know they have like a lot of online places now that you can do that, but there are still brokers. If you actually want to go in and just, you know, deal with somebody, you go in, you tell them your story. You know, you basically, I don't know, like if you'll have a copy of your credit report, it can really like let them see your report, and you already know your score, because maybe you're part of like, you know, myfico.com, or where you actually really know your real score, or you bought your scores. But the thing about it is, just try to get with somebody that will work with you. There are people out there like that. And like, you know, back then, you know, I found this person in the newspaper. Now, you know, I mean, he had an ad in the newspaper. Not saying that people still don't do that, but you know, you can probably go on the internet. And I actually just recently hooked my friend up with a broker. This was like a year ago, and I think I like Googled him, yeah, and he had like really good reviews, and I called and I talked to him, and I basically told him her story, and you know, he was just like telling me the real. He was just like, I'm not just trying to take this loan because, you know, in the long run this is going to happen, and I want it to be a success for your friend. So I ended up passing that information on to her and letting her work with him. But all I want to say is, like, don't give up, keep trying. It's in the pictures, but again, make sure when you do take a deal from somebody, it's something that you can afford. It's something that works for you. It's something that, you know, like, it's not going to just completely suck you dry when you pay your mortgage, and you're not going to have any more money. You can't save anything. You can't go anywhere. You can barely eat. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, you know. And a lot of people, my friend, she's just like, oh my God, I just keep saving and keep saving and keep saving. Well, long story short, I'm not in that house. I've since then sold that house. I moved, but I'm moving on to different ventures, you know. Now I'm trying to purchase something internationally, and I'll have to make a video about that. I mean, if you guys want to know about it, like the journey that I'm going through to actually purchase something as a foreigner, you know. But I think that's pretty much it. This was like, what, a 11-minute video about my journey. What I am going to do is link some other videos that I did do about like your credit score using Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, myfico.com. I'm going to also link a video below about like if you're trying to just restore your credit, if you're trying to rebuild credit because that is your goal to eventually get a house. I'm going to link that video also. So make sure you guys check those videos out. Leave comments, leave any questions, and if you have information to help other people, if you're a broker, you know, and you're listening to this video, you know, leave your number below so people can call and talk to you, because just so we can all just network together and just help each other on this journey that we have. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later. It's actually Friday here, so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.